I am starting this journal to chronicle what has happened since I picked up that golden mask. The Mask of Dagoth Ur, rather. I suppose it started a week or two after I picked the thing up. The one keeping it, the one who sent me after him, they seemed to think there was still some power remaining in it. I never put much stock in that theory. When I touched the mask, I heard and felt nothing. Perhaps it was an empty relic until then, and merely needed something to leech power from, though it never did what I detail here when I used it to store soul gems. I'd begun to help Neloth, Master Wizard of the Telvanni, with his troubles regarding the ash spawn and the heartstones. As is my habit when I discover any such useful thing, I began to hoard them. I could feel power emanating from them, like a soul gem, but somehow different. I could have asked Neloth about them, I suppose, but there was a wave of ash spawn attacks, and as everywhere else, even my pockets were full. And knowing how valuable they were, I put the 6 heartstones into the mask and tucked the fabric over to ensure they stayed in place. That should have been the end of it. That should have been all that happened. But that night, I usually sleep soundly and with few dreams. The ones I do have, I tend not to remember. That night there was a dream I did not forget. Even now I can see it if I close my eyes. A tall figure in the same mask, leading me through a crowd of the dead. He laughed and spoke to them as though they were alive, and none of them responded. Yet I heard voices in the crowd. But me? I could not respond. I could not even breathe. I woke screaming. When I returned to Neloth, I offered him the heartstones and he bought them without hesitation. One by one I took them out of the mask. 5 heartstones where there should have been 6. I should have seen something wrong then, but I'm known to forget things now and then, so I brushed it off. More ash spawn were defeated, and more heartstones put into the mask. This time I counted them out carefully, sure that I had somehow dropped the one before. There were 7 heartstones. I dreamed again, that same dream as before, though this time when I woke there was only a sensation of fear and not the outright terror that there had been before. I checked the mask, dumped out the stones on the ground, counted them out. There were 6 now. When I reached into the mask to see if maybe the 7th had gotten stuck, I felt something damp. I lit a ball of mage light in the other hand and drew back the first to see blood. There was blood on my hand, and I am prepared to swear by the divines and the Daedra that I hadn't cut myself. I turned the mask over, looked, and saw that same blood leaking from the eye holes, though on the outside it was dried. I cleaned it off. Fool that I was. Put the stones back inside. I told myself I needed sleep, that this was just some hallucination of mine from the deprivation. I had been on the road, slept lightly due to the ash spawn attacks. It was natural my mind should not be at its best. I did not dream again that night. No more heartstones were missing from inside it. I thought surely that would be the end of it. But then came the whispers. Small at first, on the edge of hearing. One could almost say it was a ringing in the ears, a common malady for me considering the volume of my shouts. Loud noises cause harm to the ears. I could explain it. In the whispers I heard my name, a beckoning. Come, Sadrith, it said. Come and look upon. Every time I placed heartstones inside it, they grew louder. So for a time I stopped doing that. That lasted a few days at best. Without thinking, after encountering some ash spawn, I placed the heartstones they dropped inside the mask. At first the whispers were not present, but they appeared that night as I lay by the campfire attempting to sleep. Come, Sadrith, omnipotent, omniscient, sovereign, immutable. Come and look upon. On the edge of hearing these whispers stayed, though I removed the heartstones the next morning. I thought to get rid of the mask at some point. To leave it in the home I was given in Raven Rock and never think of it again as I do with so many other items I find in my travels. But as I stood there, looking at the Mask of Dagoth Ur, placed onto the head of the mannequin, my hands would not let go of it. A feeling stirred in my gut. A thought moved through my mind. I could not just leave it there for anyone to find. Suppose a thief broke in. I am the Dragonborn, the thought added. I will bear it to save others the risk. I slept in the bed that night, not 20 feet away from the mask. When I woke and stood by it to dress, I heard not whisper but words as if spoken aloud. It said, "You have ability. Special gifts you don't even understand. Serve me and I can help you master those gifts. I turned to look and nearly screamed. The mask was turned towards me, staring and bleeding,